We are
Welcome
ready to
back.
go. I mean, you said it, so I needed to bring it to the live. Don't Jake, I had to. We're about to jump into the second game, Raid versus X7. This could be it for X7 to move on with the show and advance on the ladder. If possible, let's bring the graphic to understand where that is going to put X7 and understand who is the opponent for X7 if they win. So apparently, it's going to be Astralis veteran.
Apparently so, except
Yeah.
I think my man on my left here might have something to say about that, all right? And I am all up the Ruddy, all right? Ruddy Nation for the win, all right? They are my lock. They're my lock of the week, actually,
What's
in
that?
terms of predictions, right?
What's the drug in Arcane, the show? Is it Shimmer?
Oh, I don't
I
know.
think you must be smoking Shimmer if you think Astralis are going to win. I think we're well equipped in every sense of the word to take down Astralis. They're from Denmark. It's not even a real country. Let's be honest. It's a complete fabrication. There's a lot of conspiracies going around at the moment. If you speak to the right people, Denmark not
Right
real.
people?
Can't prove it. Can't prove it. I got on a plane to Denmark and I ended up. I want to say somewhere in the Netherlands. That's my theory.
Because I have a plane for the next month to go there, so I'm scared now. So thank you for that.
Well, you're going to arrive somewhere. It's just not Denmark. Well, it's what they call Denmark, but Denmark isn't really real. But we're going to be proving what is real, which is us winning against them.
Lovely. And we need to prove what is real as soon as we jump into the Champion Select. That should be starting in a few minutes, or at least 1 minute. Raid versus X7. We should be talking about the fact that Azir didn't work, but then you have the Samira, you have the Misfortune, you have the Kalista, the bot lane is problematic. But then you look into it all, one of the highest leather players in NLC Aurora, and it just didn't work. Do you guys think it was because of the matchup, or slow queue as something that we already know, but it's slow queue?
Well, I mean, at stages that slow queue was winning his matchup. It was all the slow queue show, right? Like, Aurora should not be losing trades. They should even be able to opt out at those points. But slow queue, he finds those small mispositionings you do, and he punishes them because he is a master when it comes to these kinds of champions. If you're going to allow him to get those champions, and Lord knows you can't allow KT to get the Kalista, he's going to get something like that. You better be very confident you can make it into the mid-late game unscathed. It is going to come down to this jungle matchup again, I think, because quite clearly.
Do you know why it's called slow queue?
Why? Why is it called slow queue, Jake?
He called himself that after a trip to Disney World because he couldn't get on the rides very quick.
I'm just gonna let that
No, let it sink. Let it sink. No. Yeah, give it time.
Yeah. Where have I gone? Bring me back.
You deserve that one. You deserve that one. We're about to go to Champion Select, I think. I'm just waiting for the confirmation from my production team to understand how the teams are doing right now before we jump into the second game. There you go. We're about to jump into pick and ban. Raid Gaming picked red side this time. So let's see where the bans are going to land. Maokai was left open in the previous one. They were able to pick it, but it was not able to provide what they wanted. Good counter pick for Icy Gale as well.
Yeah. I'm interested.
He's also an interesting player.
Yeah. I mean, he's a very interesting player. I am interested, given what I saw in the last game right now, that they are on red side. If we're going to see them go for like a mid lane counter pick instead of blinding, if they're going to be like, okay, it's a slow queue, but the ride at the end of the day is no fun for Aurora, right? And they want to get off that train. They want to get off that roller coaster. So I think we might see them.
The weather's bad as well. There's an icy gale.
Right? Okay. Maybe do the Maokai a little bit earlier. It was able to do its job. It was able to survive against the Mordekaiser and Julbu. Honestly, if you're going to pick something like Hecarim, if you're going to pick something like Pop, you're going to pick something like Sedge, any of these kinds of champs, you can afford to do them early on, right? They're really good bridge picks. The Hecarim is being removed from rate. They are aware where the power is, right? They rate it quite highly on the side of X7, right? And now it's time to see where X7 land their first pick. No Aatrox, no Kalista. Ooh, it's J-Will's favourite champion of all time. It is the Misfortune.
Ooh. That's not getting locked in, though. But I feel like I don't necessarily agree with the Hecarim ban, because I feel like this style of play that Raid want to go for, you achieve it with an Udyr, you achieve it with a Graves. I don't think it looks very different in terms of what Julbu wants to do. Or do you think it's the case that this Hecarim really enables them?
Well, with the Uda and the Graves, you don't do the same thing as you do with what Julbu was doing at Hecarim. Julbu was trying to match on almost every single opportunity against Viking and prevent Viking get his pressure out on the map. It's something we saw Sharp emulate, actually, in the group stage against X7, and they were very close to winning their games. So going for these more bridge or ganking kind of junglers, like the Sejuani is here, that's what I think it should go for. But right now, I'm immediately thinking Trundle becomes a priority pick for Viking, and that's one of his most comfortable champions by far, and that then also limits what Jorna now can do in the top lane. I think if you're going to lock the Sejin, you'd be thinking about putting it top and locking Trundle, but no. X7, they locked themselves into the Misfortune, the Jarvan Misfortune combo. It put the fear in the eyes of our casters last game even, and it looks like it's going to come out again. Very interesting to do it so early because you have options. You can still do Sejuani topside and you can go into the Poppy now, for example. That would be good against almost anything Slowkey plays and against what Viking plays. I don't like Jarvan's coming out this early, but Viking's confident that the early matchup might not matter so much and his team can escort him through the rest.
I think Viking is going to be under investigation by the IRS after this because he's an absolute fraud. He's just typed in chat, pick my pick, chat. Someone said Udyr, someone said Blitzcrank, someone said Ezreal, and he's gone for Jarvan again. What an utter fraud! Have some sustenance.
Sylas is an interesting one when you have available these sort of ultimates. You can use all three of them with excellency versus that composition for the X7. We haven't seen Sylas today, so now they're going to look into the same ones of the top lane and then the support. Apparently, veteran, what's on your mind?
I mean, do you ban out the Akali now and suffer the Yasuo? That's the question that they have there. You already have at least one decent knock-up, and you have the MF to fan whenever Yasuo manages to go in. And you know Icy Girl can go for these picks like the Mordekaiser, the AP heavy ones on top lane. They've done a ban on the Fiora, right? That is an Icy Girl kind of champion. I'm trying to recall if I've actually seen Slowq play it mid, because if any kind of a player would do it, it would be the kind of player Slowq is. But I'd think you go for an Akali Yasuo set of bans before you go for the Sylas, and you think maybe then what we're worried about most would be Slowq and LeBlanc, but at least a step down. Instead, they are thinking we don't want to see that Yasuo. We can deal with the Akali Sylas matchup. If we ban the Mordekaiser, they can't do the Yasuo pick, and we potentially remove a good pick into tanks that Icy Girl can do. Icy Girl's the one being heavily targeted, but they have managed to remove the potential for a Yasuo from Slowq by doing so. Unless Icy Girl has some kind of other AP champion the top side, this is very interesting. I don't know how the rest of the draft is going to go, but there is a definite plan here from Rate, and I dig it.
I was expecting now the Maokai to be picked in. You still don't reveal everything, but also the Thresh is available from the previous game. They also banned the Thresh, and that way you have some sort of saving tool for that Varus if he gets caught out of position. Let's see what they're going to reveal, the support or even
it has to be support here.
I forgot about this one.
Okay, I mean, now you're seeing it as part of a siege and sustain comp. They're saying, all right, again, we want to be able to have multiple HP bars. We don't think you guys are going to be able to take all of them out. And the thing with Yuumi, like even here, actually, you could actually flex the... This is actually not a bad matchup for a Yuumi top, by the way, but I doubt they're going to do that. But here, with the siege potential that Valus has as well, you're possibly looking into a full siege comp with First Strike Yuumi. You can do serious damage magic-wise at the start of fights and set up the Valus's poke later on. I also think you have very heavy lane bullies here against the Misfortune and Monata. It's an Azir for Slowq. This is interesting because the last time that we saw X7 play Azir, it was actually in KT's hands and KT swapped to the mid lane. I doubt we get a repeat of that. But that's the last time that we've seen X7. It's the only time we've seen them with Slowq actually function with an Azir. He's off his comfort. They were right with the Gambit. If he's not doing the Yasuo, he's not confident enough to do the Akali into Sylas, which is actually a decent matchup for Sylas. Used to be good for the Akali, but not for a while. And now you're showing you're doing the Sejuani into Maokai top. That's a really good tank matchup for the Sedge. You have another bridge jungler with that Viego, right? He's very strong in mid game, and he can try to match Jarvan early on. We're committed to this. This is the definite game plan from Rate that we've seen solidified into X7. They want sustain. They want to sustain the initial bursts. They've denied some initial bursts from X7, and they want to have their jungler match match Viking. He's still the star of the show. When you see the Yuumi there, you also have to think when this guy latches onto jungler later on, that can get very, very difficult for Viking. And Varus is quite a decent anti-dive champ. I like the plan for Wait. It's consistent over the last 2 games. They have come here to win against X7.
And yet again, they present a really solid champion select. Yet again, I think all of us are giving some sort of advantage towards what Raid picked. It's interesting, and it complements their gaming style. But again, I have to make the question, Donchik, who's going to win? The last time you were correct, so tell me now.
I think I way prefer X7's composition, to be fair.
Okay.
I think it's difficult. I had a lot more faith in Raid's comp the first game. I think it's going to be even harder for them now. I think their playing matchups are harder as well. I think one of the focal points in the first game was that mid section. I could see Slowq absolutely eating E-roll for breakfast this game.
Okay, so that is 2-0 in favor of X7. Veteran, you believe it's going to be the same, or you still believe Raid is capable of at least taking one game?
I thought I'd be a bit mischaracterized. I believe my exact phrasings were X7 should take it, but I could see a world where Raid does something this game, right? I was not committed onto the Raid train on the first one. Okay. I'm also not committed here. I am very interested to see Slowq's Azir though. That's something we haven't seen, and maybe they threw him off enough to try to get something.
So the desk believes it's going to be a 2-0 clean for X7, but let's toss it to the casters to see what they believe as J-Real and Chimera are waiting to jump into game.
30 seconds until minions.
Well, we're not going to go to us. We're going to go straight to the game, into the Rift. Let's get into this one. Chimera, we've seen the draft. The desk aren't happy about it. How are you feeling for Ray?
Well, before I gotta go into this, I gotta say I'm so sorry to this veteran, but actually we have seen Slowq play the Azir before, and the reason I know this is because rumor has it that Slowq played Azir into the greatest Scottish player, greatest Scottish mid laner of all times, myself, Chimera, where he did actually play into my Seraphine and completely wiped us. So we have seen that before, which I'm really happy to see him pull out again. I think Azir is a really excellent pick here. You've got Yuumi on the enemy team here, who's probably not going to have too much presence early game aside from her level 1 in the bot lane, and you've got Jarvan again for the side of Viking, who wants to impact those lanes. You saw what happened when he got a lead last time, and this time he's playing with prio lanes in mid lane, and they should get prio in bot lane after maybe the first level or the first bounce back. So a lot of lanes to play around and potential camps to be invaded.
Yeah, Modesty 100. Someone bring that up on the screen. But I agree with you in the sense of we have seen the Azir before, but into this game, we'll have to see how Ray can kind of handle this one. We talked a lot in the pre-game about them being very good at the early game, early aggression. They've now picked a team that maybe scales a little bit better, maybe a little bit faster than the game 1 comp, but overall, I do kind of agree with Don in the sense of X7 do have a very easy to execute comp. Yes, okay, Slowq, not a massive Azir player, but Misfortune, Renata, J4, do I need to say more?
And one very interesting thing I'm seeing here is Isagale once again opting in for the Ignite. It's understandable when you're into these carry matchups, lanes you want to play around, you know, like the Mordekaiser who's going to be isolated, or the Camille's, the Aatrox that I've seen, but he's actually gone it for the Maokai. And with Jobu pathing towards that lane, pathing towards the Sejuani, opting in for the extremely strong 2v2 Sejuani, Viego, melee champ with the Sejuani, and Viking pathing down towards the bot side, you're going to have to be pretty careful in these trades that Isagale is doing. If you do get ganked, do get hit in that early and you don't have TP to come back, then it's really going to stop your snowballing prowess, as he does have a small trade in the top side here. Not much more going on, but yeah, overall, like I said, Viking pathing down towards bot, opposite pathing from each junglers here. This will allow X7 Spotland to use that prio, abuse the Yuumi, hopefully secure deep vision, or use that to move into the mid lane, allow Slowq to play this isolated matchup as much as possible.
Yeah, indeed. And a bit of trading on the top side. Obviously, this is 2 tanks. We're not going to be seeing too much from this one until the mid stages, so we just get some team fight.
I should say that.
Jobu is up to the top side. Now, obviously, Viego can get themselves ahead if they do use their Sejuani as kind of like a springboard to getting free kills on that Maokai. But we saw how tanky Maokai can be. But Icicle is pretty low here now. Going to be knocked up, getting taken pretty low. The Ignite ticking over. One more would freeze him up. He gets locked down. There's Jobu, who now goes down to the tower. X7 moving up to the top side. Viking knocking up the Sedge. Gets the kill. And goodbye to Raid's top jungle.
Yeah, unfortunately it was a 2-for-1 on the side of X7 here, because you could see that no TP on Maokai here, and that wave pushing out towards the Sejuani. You're in a pretty rough spot wave-wise. You even got Viking having to push out this top wave here. I'm curious if he's going to go for a second wave. He's not going to push out the second wave as in bot lane.
Sin. Oh, he was taking them pretty low, but he's not going to be able to get the kills there almost. But forcing them out of lane, still strong promise there from the Rate bot lane. Maybe they can be the carries that their team needs. And right now, it feels like Jarvan, you know, just Viking pushing this wave in, going to get the knock-up onto Sejuani, and John Arnu going to have to back away. Wave going in, it allows him to have a little bit of a break. And talking about breaks, shout out to KitKat, who are going to be sponsoring this Aurora Cup. So, with that being said, Slowku now in trouble as Jubilee is going to be going for a gank on this lane. Okay, well, Slowku, you're going to have to try and walk back, but it's taking a lot of damage.
Okay. Not
going to go down. Jubilee just going to have to walk away, but getting some priority over to Eero.
So, two very important things here is, one, yes, X7 did get 2 kills on the top side here, which is really good, but secondly, Isagale, again, not having that TP, wave is in a terrible spot, and you saw Viking, he was stayed in top side for so long here. As much as the XP that he got, and as there is small trade top side here, as much as he did get some CS, some minions, he got some XP in top side, you can see how far he's down on in terms of camp timers here. Both his top side is still up, and you can see he's just running straight back to lanes here. He knows he's not going to get back into the game through farming and matching Viego, so he decides to just go back to that top side.
Oh, and the knock-up is clean once again. Viking just roaming to that top, going to give Isagale another gank, which gives the kill onto the Sedge, and basically forcing them to use this TP now, surely, because they've been out of lane twice now. They're losing experience. Jarvan, yes, okay, not going to be the greatest beneficiary of those kills in terms of actually carrying the game later, but building this lead against the Viego of Julbu and kind of lowering the chance of them getting 3 kills into that Maokai.
Yeah, and a really good gank timer from Viking. You could see the wave was slightly pushing out towards the side of Isagale, so good timer here. You know, he decided again to skip these camps. They'd been up for a long time, like I said, and just opt in for the gank to attack those lanes. And you can see here, Jobu, he is actually looking for the Raptors, so really smart punish here. The second rotation of the Raptors. Eero had the wave pushed in here, or has the opportunity to push it in if he wants to, and Jobu just taking the Raptors away, denying the Jarvan even more there. So good punish on both sides there. Good punish on the wave states in top, and good punish on Vikings camps here. Sorry, looking to pick up the first Drake, which honestly is a really big point for the side of Rate. When you're running these Yumi comps, it's hard to get these first Drakes, as Viking does jump in.
We've been here before. Viking looking for another steal potentially. The Dragon though 2k, so not going to be burned down anytime soon. Eero is actually covering the exit as well. It is going to be Viking leaving the pit there. That should secure the Dragon for Rate. Unless we get a crazy steal, it's not going to happen. Julbu will secure that one and then walk away with the Dragon.
Yeah, and another thing to note is here, Jobu does have cleared all his camps. There's only his Krugs up here, whereas on the side of Jarvan, you know, his blues also spawned, and those Raptors were taken by Jobu. So we're spawning around that Herald time, whereas Rate's camps on bot side won't be spawning. So we'll have to see if they are going to match towards that top side in the Herald this time, or if they are going to look to opt into a cross map. You can see Rate's bot lane, Sign and Jamsu are pushing, they're pinging the next wave, that 734 wave, really important for the side of Herald, if they're choosing to push this one and rotate straight up, or if they want to take their resets and open towards top side. One mistake from Tabby you saw is she actually moved towards the mid lane on this wave, which actually gave Rate the bot lane prio here. So if they do want to move up to that top side, they will have numbers advantage.
Yeah, we'll see if that does play out. Obviously, it could become problematic, but we did see the Herald decide a lot of the game as Jarvan now in trouble. Viking going to be able to get away. It's a good Cataclysm Flash, but now into the mid lane. Slowku pushing back Julbu, but it's going to be to their demise as he gets one. Now turns into Jarvan looking for the Heartbreaker, and it is going to be another kill. Julbu is alive, and in this game, the player we've been talking about all series long is here to go 3-1 on Viego.
Yeah, and kind of a questionable decision there from Viking. You have got on your side of the game, you've got Azir, who tends to just want to play for lane state. Good lane positions, play for CS, play for prio, but not actually want to move there. On the other side, you're playing into extremely strong 2v2 in the side of Viego and Silas there, and you're opting into take these 2v2 fights there, and you can just see the strength that they had, especially as soon as you get one kill. There's just nothing Slowku can do. Burning flash there and going down, and just trading that gold over, and now you're looking at a 1k gold lead for the side of Rate here. They could opt to lose in, they could just give this Herald here with Jobu going to base, decide to stay for his camps, and play towards bot side. And with X7 having prio in bot side here, maybe they just look for a Herald at this point.
Yeah, and I have to give props to the desk, right?
Bot side.
They talked about the invading. They talked about that Raptor camp. We even saw a video of the Raptor camp take. We saw it happen with Julbu. It almost feels like Viking was trying to do his own version of that play, and it did not work out for them. And Rate are now starting to capitalize a little bit in the early game. Now, obviously, most people did give the favour to X7. So, with Rate finding some sort of success, we want to see them keep continuing that. What's kind of their key to success here? Is it just keep feeding Julbu more and more kills, finding those picks? Although, hold on one second, as Evo going to go into slow queue there, gets the Cataclysm down, and now it's going to be big trouble. Tries to shuffle away potentially, but he just gets caught out. It's another kill over to Rate onto slow queue, and, well, Veteran said he doesn't really play much Azir. Not working out for him so far.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter the CS lead that you're building on the side of slow queue. You're almost up 20, 30 CS here, but you're just so much pressure on these ganks. This 2v1 or 2v2 combo from the side of Rate is working out incredibly well just now. You've got Blade the Ruin King picked up for Jobu already. Such an extreme spike for him this early into the game. So we'll just look to see how they can snowball this. Picking up the Herald, Viking, he did have his bot camps up, still up on when Herald spawned here. Just a snowball effect of all the ganks he did on top side here. The lateness taken of those second rotation camps, meaning he couldn't be there for the Herald. And Jobu just a great punish there. You could see Slowq just overstepping a bit too much in the mid lane. You know you've got the strong 2v2, as he does try going again.
Viking going to go to stasis. Now Julbu's there looking for the stun, but doesn't manage to land it. Cataclysm onto Evo, but the Kingslayer gives him so much healing back, but he will go down to slow Q. The long range Emperor able to pick up a kill, and now it looks like they were going to go aggressive here, but the camera has panned away to the top side, where RC Gale is just arming up a storm.
Yeah, and there again, just another 2v2, almost outplaying their Viking. He did manage to dodge Jobu's ult there as a little skirmish on top side. Doesn't want to commit the ignite, but does get the wave in, and yeah, happy with that trade if you're the side of X7 there. You're down in gold and you are evenly trading, which is great, and denying the Herald usage. We'll be looking to see where Jobu wants to go off of that. You know, you've got your Yuumi almost spiking, got Lost Chapter on the bot side here. You know, looking for that Luden's Echo, the greatest spike in history side of Yuumi, and Eero starting to trade in the mid lane, starting to maybe force some prio. So Deep Vision is where I'm looking at on the side of Ray and Jamsu. Get those wards as soon as possible. Even maybe play for the Drake and then for Herald. We'll need to see where they want to go.
Here we do indeed. Obviously, a lot of objectives going the way of X7 in game one. This time, they've turned it all on its head. Rate really in control. They picked up the first Herald. They've got the first Drake. They're up in gold by about 1,300. And they're looking to capitalize on more as next dragon is going to be spawning soon. But Slowq, good touch from Eero there. Manages to stay alive and away from the other side of the wall, which would have pushed him towards Viking. But this time, it's not going to be. And it does feel like Rate came to play. Just for the people that didn't watch game one, Rate are 0-1 in this series. If X7 win this game, Rate are gone.
Yeah, it's small little mechanics there you don't often see in Silas. He actually did get hit by Slowq's ult, but as the Slowq's ult hit, he managed to land the second part of his E onto a minion, which cancelled the ult. The only other time I've seen this is actually at Worlds, Chovy getting Blitzcrank hooked by Ming, and then Ian onto the Raptors and cancelling the Q that was going to pull him back there. So nice little outplay, nice from Eero to show off some mechanics there. Still down a little bit of CS there, but not too much of a care in the world when you're 2 kills and on your mythic, as it does look like X7 might want to scrap for this Drake.
I mean, it's stepping up there. We're going to see Change going wide, and there's a jumping in. One time over the top. It's going to clutch them down, and now once again, Rate on a team fight not having success. Now we're going to see the Sejuani moving forward. We are going to get Jobu picking up one more for the team, but overall, Rate in a really strong position. It was a 4v5, and they came out with multiple kills, but now Jananu going to force them back. It will be Rate to pick up the dragon overall. But a bit of a scary moment there for them as X7 looking poised to potentially win that one back.
Yeah, and Sign there starting off the fight, missing ult and not wanting to use any of the sums there on Vikings out there. But again, I gotta talk about this Ignite from Icegale in top lane. You're playing a Maokai who's supposed to be a facilitator in the team, a frontliner, someone that's engaged and follows fights here, but you don't have a TP here. So if you're opting to take these fights inside of X7 and you're not keeping track of John Arrow's TP, then you're going to lose them. You're just opting into a 4v5 situation there, and you could see that. Even though the start of the fight looked fantastic for X7 there, you had Viking, you know, dodging out on the Varus ult, getting a one-shot onto Varus, not even able to use any sums there. The fight went on long enough where Sejuani could come into here, finish up the team fight, and even secure the Drake for Rate here. And now you've got a 2.5k gold on the side of them with an extremely snowball heavy comp. and you've still got the late game insurance on the side of Yuumi, who's going to be such a menace into these not much healing onto the side of X7. So when you do get that Liden's Echo, so much damage is going to come down.
Yeah, and Veteran talked about it, having multiple health bars, having sustained in that fight. Viego looked a little bit low at some points, but then came back, had the Yuumi on them. They weren't going to die anytime soon, and they were able to clean up those other sides of the fight. And it is something they have to keep tempo on. It is something they have to look for. They have already started buying anti-heal, but is it going to be enough?
Yeah, it's a bit of a rough situation, but the one thing X7 have going for them is they were often down in gold in their group stage games. There's often down in 2k gold leads, as Isagale might have a face check here.
Ooh, he is in trouble. Gonna be cut down by the broadsword of the Viego there. Another kill going the way of Ero. And although a lot of people talked about how the mid lane wasn't going too well for Ero, this game really perked up, really came to play, and actually showing that, you know what, this Silas pick is good for them. They're able to really start gaining some control. And as you said, down in CS, but overall feels like they're doing a lot more for their team.
Yeah, for sure. I think the name of this game is just skirmishing. You could see in game 1, even though Viking got put behind and Jobu was an absolute monster in the early game of the Hecarim, you could just see the comp that wanted to skirmish more or had a stronger skirmishing early was just taking the game and snowballing. And here you can see Rate completely changed the comp that they had going for them. Originally in the first game they had, you know, the scaling, you had the Seraphine, the Sivir, you had the Azir as well. And
Viking in the top side, Sin in big trouble here, going to be taken down, is now looking up for Jobu though, but they're going to get away. It is going to be the kill onto Misfortune, snuck away there by Ero, and it went through bailout as well. So Rate finding a 1-for-1 in what looked like a little bit of a rough situation for them, but still keeping the momentum their way, and now even looking to maybe look to crush down this tier 1 tower.
Yeah, and they're pushing around here. You can see Sejuani coming up. Don't think they're going to go for much more there, but again, you can see the strengths of Rate comp when you're playing into these often single, well, not so much single target with MF ult, but these single catch targets such as Jarvan ult or the Maokai root. You can see the amount of pressure they're putting down in Slime, but it doesn't matter when you've got Jobu, who is so far ahead. He's 2 items, 60 minutes in, which is insane. And you can see here, you know, they are split. It's a very good engage with 5x7. You are splitting onto the member who's 1 rather than 3, but it doesn't matter that you one-shot him here. Look at Jobu. He just comes out, almost one-shots the MF there, or KT, with Yuumi. And Ero coming in here, he comes in. Okay, I thought he was the one that queued, but it wasn't. He just got hit by Yuumi Q, I'm pretty sure. And then got taken down there, and it's just a 1-for-1 at the end of the day.
Yeah, the Nature's Drafts, they're coming in absolutely clutch. Ero stole it quite a bit earlier, so maybe they did forget that Malphite had lost his ult there. The Nature's Drafts obviously coming in pretty clutch, picking up the kill on to Misfortune. Back though, into the game, we got to do a little check-up here. Obviously, on the top side, farming does continue as usual. Dragon not going to be coming up anytime soon, as time has also disappeared.
Yeah, and you're right, it was Ero taking away the Maokai out there and just saying, cool guys, don't look at explosions, as he walks past there and he just gets taken down into the passive of the Renata W. And yeah, coming out, 3k gold lead still, not too much of a gold lead generated in the past few minutes, which you are happy on the side of X7. If you're keeping this gold lead and it's not actually accelerating, then you know you're doing something right in the game here. Drake does spawn in 40 seconds, so my eyes are on these top laners here. Are we going to see Isagale open towards bot side, which looks like we are, and are we going to see Sejuani open to bot side or open towards top side? You know, you have this TP advantage. You can, if you want, opt into the cross map here, but when you're 3k gold up, you don't want to. You just want to take any fights possible. 2 item spikes is go, go, go button. When you're on this, it's your probably biggest spike of the game.
You want to go, but maybe not on your own. Jobu going to be able to get away with the Heartbreaker, is going to stay alive. Final traps are also used from the Yuumi, so 2 ultimates gone down for Rate. They're going to drop the Herald mid and try and buy some time before they have to go to the Dragon, but there's the flash Cataclysm onto Jobu. There's the bullet time over the top. They're going to take down the Viego. That's the danger man.
Brilliant stolen
We're going to see a huge bit of damage though onto us here. They wipe them out. The next 7 are going to have to run away from this one. Goodbye Icy Gale, because they're Silas, the Varus. They have too much damage. They pick up another kill. Tabby going to try and run, but will go no further. The Herald and Rate just crushed down on their mid towers.
And it's an absolute wipe. They took down Jobu, who's the most fed member on the entire team there. He's 2 items, and they instantly one-shot him, but it doesn't matter. Again and again, I say it. They have such a strong skirmish comp. It doesn't matter if you take down 1 member. They have another 3 members doing a lot of damage here. They have such individual target damage threat on the side of X7, and once that goes down, there's not much damage left over. as played from Slowq there, but Slowq's just on one item, so he can't carry fights individually yet. And you see that they take down 2 towers mid lane. They get, I think, 3 kills, I believe, in the end there, possibly 2, and the Drake. And now they're 5 minutes away from So Point with such a big lead. They're 6k gold up. Eero maybe even looking to go for a play here.
Oh, gets the Emperor's Divide, pushes Slowq back, and so much damage. Going to be divided himself, but able to walk away because here is Julbu. Here's the team, but a good flash from Slowq will get him away from the Glacial Prison. But it is going to be no win for them, as it will finally fall down to the Viego. Viking trying to take his red buff, will be able to secure that one and walk away as Julbu is trying to catch him up. But we go back to the replay of that last team fight.
Yeah, and you can see here, it's such a great start for X7. Even though they're down in gold, the most important thing is just not face checking when you're ahead, and they get both the ults out from the Yuumi and the Viego. But Eero here, such a fantastic use of the ult here. Instead of ulting straight onto where KT is, he ults towards the targets are going towards and where they're chasing into, and it just cuts off any route that they have to follow up in the fight here. Just fantastic play from him there. And yeah, again, they got the shutdown onto Jobu here, but it doesn't matter. They still have the Yuumi alive. They still have this Silas, who is completely spiked from this point in the game here.
Whoa.
You can see he's going for the 1v1.
Icy Gale able to dodge out there from the root, but walking away. Will they be able to get enough distance? Icy Gale going pretty low. Eero has a lot of damage. It is going to be over to the Silas. The chains cutting down the tree. A bit of deforestation for that nation, but Great Gaming going to be going towards the Baron now. No Eero in sight. Maybe they could sneak this one away.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything you can do here. You can see the vision that they put down here. They've got 1 blue trinket. Maybe they look for a flip, but Vikings on the bot side, I think he's saying, no, I can't do anything. I don't want to give up my KDA here. And they do take down the Nation. You've almost got a 10k gold lead at this point here. So if you're instead of right here, I expect them to finish before this So point even comes up, or the So comes up. You know, you just play, at this point, two lanes. You've got such good siege with the side of a Yuumi poke and those Baron minions. So I think just open into one side here. Maybe they are looking to go to top. I see top pings going down here. But yeah, on the side of XM, just praying for a miracle. You're so hard to team fight against this comp. You've got to hope that Yuumi jumps out, missteps, or they are opening 3 lanes and you can punish someone in the mid lane here. But playing it smart, they've got the pry on the mid lane here. Eero doesn't have TP, so they need to be slightly careful of opting into a 45 on the top side here. But you can see Icy Gale Viking moving into bot side, so there's no real threat of pressure just now in the top side.
Yeah, right now it is all Rate Gaming. We've seen them in this position before, ahead and looking to crush this game out quickly. We'll see if X7 can hold out, though. As Don Jake said, there is a lot of ease of access when it comes to their team fights, so maybe if they can get themselves in the right position, they could set up pretty well. But obviously, the gold lead of about 8k over to Rate Gaming does really weigh the favour in their hands.
Yeah, and you can see just sieging on the top side here, a little bit thrown off from in the previous wave from the pressure from X7, but with that they just managed to take out the mid lane, Azir tower I believe it was, not a real tower, and then move into the top side here. So I'm expecting them to take it down here. Are looking to siege with Sejuani ult, not quite hitting, but it's still good enough to just poke them off here. Maybe they look for a hero fight, but I don't think so. And if you are X7, I think you just got as a maybe a fight.
Nature Grass going to be dropped down. I think it was less that they were looking for it, more they almost got given a hero fight, but they're able to walk away from this one, although now maybe looking for something as Eero is isolated, going to be locked in the cataclysm there, and a lot of damage coming out from the side of KT, but Sin is back, and Viking has just gone down immediately. Yes, they used the bailout, but there is no getting out of that situation as Icy Gale now trying to hold the line, pushes them away, and just able to avoid enough CC, will get locked down finally, and a lot of damage is going to go over the top. The bullet time is going to change the to the Epo. Jubulu is going to go down as well. KT able to really save his team, and they've taken down the cat in the back as well. Now they're moving forward. Eero is super low, does have Emperor's Divide. Will he be able to get away? The tower is holding him into this fight, but no damage going to be coming his way. Rate protects their mid laner, and they're able to walk away, but a bit of a scuffed fight from them isn't going to feel too great.
But a 2 for 2 there, you're absolutely buzzing if you're X7 on the side of that. KT, I don't know where he came from, but he just came from an absolute monster flank there, sniping them down with the MF ult there and taking, I think it was Jamsu he took out in the end there. But yeah, with the Drake spawning in 45 seconds, maybe this is the glimmer of hope. You've got some mental fortitude back into the game here instead of X7, knowing that you can win a fight here. But Slowq here, not quite 2 items yet. It's still the big question mark for me. Will he have 2 items if he wants to base here and tee you back? And this Drake here, this soul, is such an important factor for the side of X7. So we need to see how this is played. I would say that Rate are going to get first on objective here, and that would kind of decide the game.
Yeah, Infernal Soul is not one to mess around
not
with.
two items,
X7
though.
gonna use all their TPs to get into position. As you said, not 2 items, still sitting on a lot of components right now. John Arnu able to hold the line. Viking gonna go in, but not able to get onto the back line. And here we go, Jubilee on the side. Cataclysm is gonna lock him up, but he's able to walk away. And they've already taken down Viking. They're already going through the team. Wraith are going forwards. They're gonna be able to pick up the win here. They take down the team in a full ace, and they're gonna run straight towards the base of X7. Sorry, Viking is still alive, but it is a 4-0 so far, and they're just gonna be able to run him down as well. Viking tries to get away, but it's just Eero buying some time for the team, allowing them to keep pushing these waves, because Ray could potentially end the game right here, right now, as they do finish off the J4.
And Eero, what a fantastic position there with the stolen Renato hitting all key members in the backline here and just solo winning that fight as far enough as ahead as they were, just absolutely destroying that fight there. Doesn't look like they'll end the game here. I think possibility that they could have if they all went as 5, but instead playing it safe. You know it's such an unlosable game as long as you just play for the soul, maybe next Nash and then end the game. But this Silas pick is such a monster this game, and I have to say this does feel like a snowball of what happened on the top side here, opting in for this 2v2 engagement on top side, allowing Jobu to get ahead in this top side. Viking spending so much time in the Maokai Sejuani lane, meaning Jobu could invade for these camps, get even further ahead, and then again, the final nail in the coffin for the early game was Viking invading these Raptors, and then the double kill getting picked up on the side of Ray, and you can just see how snowball heavy both these teams are. X7 had a lead in the early game, just completely took over. 24-minute game, and right here we're on par to match that record. Not quite the same, a little bit further after that, but you can see how much they've snowballed. 11k gold lead 25 minutes in.
Indeed, right now it is looking all Wraith's way. We said that there was potential for them to pick up a win in this series, mostly predicting X7 to win overall, but maybe this is their game. Maybe Wraith are actually the ones that are going to show up in the later stages. Who knows? Maybe they could even win the third game, but we have to get there first. Wraith picked up the Infernal Soul. They're now 5 minutes away from Elder, 30 seconds away from Baron. That is the objective that we need to keep our eyes on as they are pushing in those mid and top waves, getting that pressure, allowing them to set up in the jungle and get that deep vision.
Yeah, and Wraith just setting up really well here. They're just taking all vision on the top side. There is one lonely ward just around the Nash bush here, but aside from that, taking all vision, playing the lanes. They were playing 2, but now Eero deciding I'm going to pressure bot side. No one can match me. You don't even have TP on Isogale. Slow Q's TP's down from previous fight. You can just opt in to push in here and then rotate up, and you can see that's exactly what he wants to do here. Nash spawning up here, waves pushed in. It's an impossible task for X7 to face check here. I would expect them to give it up unless they want to look for a hero fight. Once again, that one hero ward showing some vision as it gets taken out.
Yeah, they know the Baron is being started. We'll see if they go to make a play for it. Obviously, a huge steal from the Jarvan was what kind of gave them a massive edge in Game 1. It would be huge if they get it in Game 2, but it's not going to have the option. It is going to be the pickup there for Wraith of the Baron. And most people would think that this is where the game ends. But, X7, do they have one more fight? Can they bring this one back? These are the questions. What is the answer, Chimera?
Yeah, I think there always are rooms to get back into it, especially when you have champions like Renata or Azir. You know, Azir's always got so much scaling potential here, and Renata, all she really does need is one big ult, one ult into honestly just Sign, who's got a lot of DPS on him at the moment here, as they are looking to seize down on this tier 3 into bot side here. Not much X7 can do, so yeah, you've just got to hope that they're grouping up as 5. Yeah,
the Yuumi damage is ridiculous, absolutely blowing away Icy Gale. And it's now more and more coming from the Cat as Sin also stepping up with a bit of poke themselves, really raining in those arrows. They're going to just take all of these inhibs. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3, all gone down. And there's the damage onto Slow Q. You have to be so careful. Nature's Grasp is going to be dropped from both teams. This is going to lock them up as here goes X7. I see Gale into the middle of the team. Will take down the 620. The time over the type was absolutely massive. As now Jubilee going to go into the transformation. But who will he become? Maokai is where he stops, but he's going to get dropped. And Eero now has to walk away. Eero and Sid, the last 2 alive with Jamsu as well. 3 versus 2. Slow Q and KT underneath the base. So they're the ones with the big damage. Let's see if Ray can keep this push going. Minion waves are being thrown. It's full in time. Over the top, catches out the Azir. Eero going mental right now. KT gonna have to get back into base, and he dies onto the fountain to kick up the kill. He goes golden because he's gonna win this game, and Wraith gonna bring it back 1-1 in the series.
And you can't forget you've got the Zerath support and the Unity here, completely one-shotting people with the Qs there. Just absolutely phenomenal play there, and I'm so happy that we've got a series in our hands at this point here. Just complete snowballs from both teams at this point. And Game 3, I really have to think, you have to look into these skirmish comps here. You've had both teams playing for these, well, one front to back into another front to back, and both of them are just losing here. So the skirmish is working so well for both sides.
Said mid gap. E-roll said, no, that's cap. Comes back, pulls out the Silas, whips up this game. I will say, shout out to Julbu as well. Absolutely massive performance on that. Viego was just being
Phenomenal.
a menace from the start, was forcing the side of X7 to really target him, and then obviously giving his team a little bit more time. And obviously Sin pumping out much damage as well. So all in all, Rate coming back, making this a series. It is much closer than maybe people would have given them credit for in a game that actually the Death Door X7 should have cleanly taken up. But Chimera, what's your prediction for Game 3? You know, what are we expecting to happen?
Honestly, I still believe X7 are playing well. I think their comp that they had is extremely difficult to play when you're even behind in the early game. So I'm still expecting X7 can still bring it back, but the way that Rate played, they played their comp to perfection, and they abused X7. So it could be anyone's game, but hopefully X7 can bring it back and bring a competitive Game 3.
No, indeed. I think we are about to throw it to the desk. I want to ask them a quick question. Is it just red side better?
Broken.